Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Optimized Ecommerce Podcast. I'm Tanner Larsson, and today we have a repeat guest from the BGS team. We've got Casey Brown joining us today. Now, Casey is a kind of a unique individual in our team in that he comes from being a coaching student, but he also had his own, obviously as a coaching student, he had his own e-commerce business. And then when he decided to sell out of that business, he came to work with us, and he's been a revenue optimization expert for us since day one. He has worked inside of our education programs. He has spoken on stage at our events. And now he does work on our amplified partnership program as well with some of our bigger clients, and has been responsible for taking a store from around $200,000, $300,000 a month into the $2 to $3 million per month range. And that store is still a client. He works on it still, and he's continuing to scale it. So he's got really good experience with that store. But the cool thing is, he works on other ones. And now we've developed a new program inside of BGS called RAP, or Revenue Accelerator Program. And that program is a kind of an incubator style program for clients that are not quite ready for our amplified program. And they're still really fast growing. They're doing well, but they're not quite ready to get into our AMP program. And so we've developed this new program, and Casey is running that program. And the reason I'm giving you this backstory is he's working on a lot of different stores, everything from motorcycle parts to gardening to pet stuff to fertilizer, all kinds of different things. And through this, the way Casey's brain works, it'd probably scare you if you could get inside his brain and see how it actually works. But from an optimization standpoint, it's wicked smart, right? He's just amazing. And he's been able to look at all these different sites and realize that, hey, some things that he knew were important are actually way, way, way more important. And there's some, to be leveraged because of what he's found in this RAP program. So he's going to get into this. One of the things that he's learned is through the RAP program and anything else we do a lot of user testing. So, and he'll talk more about what that is, but the framework is that we don't just take our own, we know this works and the data says so. Even if the data tells us something, we still then put it before user testing and have people come through the site and run specific tests and do specific things to see if what we're doing actually works or if it backfires or whatever else. And through this user testing on this RAP program, Casey's learned some really crazy stuff about images. And I know we've talked about images in other podcasts, but I can pretty much guarantee that this is going to be some new eye-opening stuff for you guys. So Casey, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for those kind words. Appreciate it. So yeah, working within RAP program, I've had a client now for 3 years. Just things have been going so well with this individual. It's in the pet niche and just looking at pet products for almost 3 years. But now for the last I think about 6 months now with the RAP program, looking at everything from off-roading trucking parts to plant fertilizers. And every imaginable niche in between that, kind of took away some of my banner blindness and really kind of gave me more insights, looking at a wide range of different websites and doing the whole process from A to Z. Not to get too much off on a tangent, but RAP program, we would do these big website analyses for our clients. And then it was kind of like, well, here you go, now execute it. And then that's where it all fell apart. Just finding a good front end and back end development team alone can take 2-3 months of losing money on Upwork, trying random people, and that's just, one aspect of it. So doing the whole thing from A to Z has really given me a new eyes, and with emphasis, like Tanner was saying, on the user testing, especially. My analogy for user testing is like, let's say I could go back, it's like a secret weapon, right? If I could go back in time to the Roman times, meet Julius Caesar, but I could go back and take with me an AK-47. And he's like, oh my God, Casey, you're the greatest warrior I've ever seen. You've conquered all the barbarian art. How do? You must be the most amazing warrior. Well, I like to think of myself that I am a good warrior. Thank you. But I also have this AK-47. So it's no match. And for various reasons, it's just kind of hard for the average person to jump in and do this. Some of our clients have done A/B testing before and, other various things that we teach, but it's very rare. Tanner, how often do we get a student that's like, oh yeah, I've done user testing before?
Almost zero. Most of them don't even know what it is.
Yeah, that's my AK-47. That's my secret weapon. And yeah, quick overview is we use a marketplace for it, but you can recruit people off of Craigslist or anywhere really. And the basic premise of it is you recruit people, ideally that they're in your niche. So if it's a, I don't know, a device for relieving back pain, ideally they have back pain. And you recruit them and they go through the site and they perform tasks for you. Hey, find a device you think would relieve lower back pain. Okay, now pretend it's for your mom and you want something more subtle because, you know, she's an elderly woman. You don't want a stiff posture corrector device, but you want something, pretend you're shopping for her, and they go through, hey, I'm not finding anything that I think would work. And how do I filter by, you know, the more easy, light products, not these intense, you know, the yoga wheel, the thing that bends yours. If you guys ever seen that product? There's like a yoga,
big giant wheel that you lay on. Yeah.
It literally bends your back like a horseshoe. That probably wouldn't be good for a elderly woman, I'm guessing. And sorry, where was I going with this? Oh, and the first question I always ask them, all roads kind of lead back to clarity on what your value propositions are, clarity on why they should buy from you versus somebody else, clarity on what your return policy is, clarity on, is it really organic, you know, whatever objections they may have. And the first question we always ask is to test clarity. And the first question I always ask is, please browse this site for a minute. What is this website about as far as you can tell? And then, of course, as they perform this task, their screen is being recorded and they narrate out loud. And my assistant, Dolly, that I'm working with, who's fantastic, working with her, you know, daily on this this wrap program. And whenever we get to the part of the call where we talk to the client about user testing, I always tell her, I say, hey, Dolly, when we do this first question, which is arguably the most important, what is this website? You know, browse this website for a minute. What is this website about as far as you can tell? I say, hey, Dolly, what percentage of people actually read the copy when they're like performing this task, trying to answer it, versus they just look through the images and don't read a thing? She goes, well, yeah, nobody reads the copy. Everybody just scrolls through the images. I can tell you that, you know, I always say this as a joke. I watch more user testing than you watch of Netflix. I have hours and hours and hours under my belt of watching this, you know, pages and pages of Google Docs, you know, maybe 100, 200 plus pages of notes from various clients over the years on their user testing. And I can tell you that, yeah, probably about 10% of people will read the copy when you ask them that question. And here's the scary thing, right? If a user tester does a crappy job on their user testing, we rate them 1 star with it. Because like I said, we go through a marketplace. I have recruited people off of Craigslist before, but now we use a marketplace. It's kind of easier because the people come trained and they have the software already on their phone to record the screen and all that. They know they're being evaluated. And if I rate them 1 star, we get a refund. We get to do that again. We get to just like free replace it. The marketplace that we go through would just, you know, I assume deducts that from their pay and uses it to give, so that they get dinged for it. Now, if people who, you know, they know that they have an observer, like there's, you know, metaphorically a man in a lab coat, you know, standing behind them, like, you know, making sure they're supposed to be doing this. If they're not even reading your copy, when their job is to read their copy and they're basically being asked to like browse the site, if they're not even doing it, you know, what do you think the average, you know, customer is? Now you can make an argument, well, you know, a user tester may not have interest in this, but, you know, someone who clicked the ad is more motivated and more interested and they may actually read it. That's a good point. They probably do, but it still speaks to the importance of the image gallery. I mean, like I said, 90% of people will not even touch the copy at all and just look through the images alone.
Yep. So guys, where we're going with this is we always talk about, you know, pretty much in the e-com space for sure. We talk about it a little bit more, but everybody knows images are important on the product page. That's where they focus on it, right? They try to get good images on the product page, or they don't. They use their AliExpress or Alibaba, whatever, but that's crap. But if you're doing the e-com right, most of your focus on imagery is on the product page. But the other pages of the site are equally as important. And then how they're leveraged on the product page or any page of the site is super important. And again, we've known this, but what Casey's going to go through and show you some examples is kind of just like new awareness and just reinforcing, you know, the importance. So like his example, the people that are getting paid to tell you what your site's about, like all they got to do is read it. They're not doing it. chances are your mass audience isn't going to do it either. I mean, human nature is lazy. So if it's not readily apparent, instantly apparent, that, that 3 to 5 second attention span type of apparent, you're going to lose a huge percentage of them. That's going to contribute to your bounce rate, your lower conversion rate, how much you're spending on traffic, your cost of acquisition, and everything. So we're going to get into this right now. We're going to talk a whole bunch about images. Casey's actually going to be sharing his screen. So guys, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher or something like that, follow along. You'll get some good stuff out of it. But I highly recommend you also later hop over to the YouTube channel and watch the video version of this podcast. So then you can see the exact video, visual examples of what Casey's going to be showing. You'll still get a lot out of it if you're on audio only. But, if you want to, like, oh, what did he mean here? You can then hop over to the YouTube channel. And if you need to get a link to get to the YouTube channel to find the YouTube podcast, just go to buildgrowscale.com/podcast. Okay. So with that, Casey, why don't we jump in? Show me some examples of ecom images, some good ones.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to share my screen now and show some of the good product images first, and then we'll talk about some bad ones. I'm going to kind of go through this and then show examples on the fly. So a feature image, right? It's images that show the different features of the product. So for the people on audio, let me see here. We're looking at on my screen right now well, that's not a feature image. Let me see here. Okay, here's a feature image. So right now we're looking at an image of a posture corrector device for the people who are just on audio. And it's kind of like, you see like, one of those construction workers or something where they wear these, it's almost like a little backpack, but in this image, it shows the soft foam padding. It kind of zooms in on that. There's like a little arrow pointing to the foam padding section of it. And then it says soft foam padding. And then there's another little arrow pointing to another part of the image, and it says adjustable straps. So what this is doing is a feature image is exactly what it sounds like. It points to different features on it. So if you had like a Swiss Army knife or something, or a pair of shoes, and it said, here's the 100% wool exterior that's machine washable, and here's the ergonomic sole that, I don't know, slowly molds to the shape of your foot or whatever it is. It's just kind of pointing out different features on it. I'm going to say something that's going to overarching, all these examples here now. Your images should tell the same story and give the same information as your copy. I'll say that one more time. Your e-commerce images, your image gallery, as they scroll through it, should convey the exact same information that they can get from reading the copy. Now, of course, it's not going to be as detailed. I don't want big, I wouldn't want to see you guys do big blocks of text in your e-commerce images. And, like, it shouldn't be a library, but it should be, again, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, it just says soft foam pads, adjustable straps. No need to go now if they want more, they can go through the copy, but at least it's giving them that kind of a snapshot. Your biggest objections, there should be a snapshot of your biggest objections. I'm going to go back to my thing here. Clarity images. So we've covered feature images. I'll show more examples of feature images. I'll show more examples of all of these, but I think we kind of checked that box for now. Clarity images. So just an image that clarifies something of it. So I have an example here on my page. It's a woman's energy fat burner drops, and it just says how to use. Shake before use. Add 10 drops, 0.5 milliliters, 1 to 3 times per day to your favorite drink. Simple. Just quickly, how to use it. It can clarify the size, clarify the material. Think about what you're getting from your customer service people, your most common questions on your Facebook ads, anything you can clarify from it, do it, right? Again, we're telling the same story, we're having the same clarity, same objection handling, same value propositions from our copy dispersed throughout our images.
Now, guys, on that one real quick, that sounds super simple. You're like, well, I right over in the product description, I say how to use it, or on the back of the bottle, there's an image that has the direction, or like an image of the back of the bottle that shows the usage directions. That's not the same, okay? Remember, you and your customers are inherently lazy just because of human nature. We don't want to have to figure it out. Shopping should be subconscious. So you need to just present it in a way that they don't have to go looking for it. And it's almost presented, oh yeah, of course I was going to want to see that. And it's right there for them. Okay. And that's where Casey's going with what he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep in mind that, yeah, like the curse of knowledge. You have so much knowledge about your own product. Don't overlook anything. This next one is possibly my favorite. I love it for a lot of reasons. So I'll explain it for people who are on audio. It's a woman, and it's a before and after photo. It's a side-by-side comparison of her posture. And in one, she looks kind of slouched over. Just doesn't look like good posture. The other one, she looks a lot more erect, upright. It's a lot better posture. I actually created this image. Well, I didn't take the picture of the woman. I found this on Amazon, but there's a customer quote in there that says, "Changed my life, finally pain-free." If I was to go back and edit this, I probably would put quotations around it and then sign her name. So it'd say, "Changed my life, finally pain-free, Mary from Los Angeles," or whatever it is, if I was to go back and edit this. But just put quotations around it and then the name of the person. But why do I love these so much, right? We have a site for my main client where we have these customer quote images. That's what I call them, customer quote images, that explain every feature of the product. So without giving away what it is out of respect for the client, let's just use a posture corrector as an example. Oh, it's so soft and comfortable, or oh, it's adjustable. It fits me. I was scared that the straps would dig in, but they don't dig in. Think about, again, whatever niche you're in, you should probably know what your biggest objections are. If you don't, that's a red alert to go find that out. What are your customers naturally objecting to, having resistance, having doubts about? The jargon term for it is FUDs, fears, uncertainties, and doubts. Find out what their FUDs are and put it through quotes. It makes it more believable because, again, you're just a heartless corporation that's greedy and wants their money. You'll say anything to sell your product. But if they hear it from a customer, all of a sudden now it's believable. It's almost like a little mini story. So if we're doing, let's say I'm looking around my room, a camera, these could go through lens quality is amazing. No chromatic aberration. That's a photography term. Don't worry about what it means. 1.4 f-stop creates beautiful this and that. The bokeh is amazing. These are photography terms, so don't worry about what they mean. But I'm explaining the product, explaining the benefits, explaining the value propositions, handling the objections, all through customer quotes.
It's like a bullet point, feature benefit bullet point, but used in a way with, instead of when you do a bullet point and you talk about the feature, comfortable straps, the benefit would normally be soft foam pads, breathable mesh, feels great, right? That's your corporate speak, like Casey's talking about. But instead, you have the feature, which is the adjustable or comfortable, whatever you want to say, and then you have the benefit, and the benefit is done by the customer quote. So you basically find a customer testimonial where they say, "So comfortable, don't even know it's there," right? Now you've let a customer speak to the benefit of the product's feature without you having to do it. So it's the same thing that you're doing on your product page with your copy, only you're letting the images speak with a customer, and hopefully that customer's face and everything is in that image, or if not, you're at least putting their name in there like Casey's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely love those. Those are fantastic. Images that show scale. So this is a simple one, going back to clarity. All roads come back to clarity, basically. I don't think I need to elaborate on this too much. Just put it next to a household object. If it's a knife, or I don't know, anything, a wallet. If I'm just seeing the generic AliExpress, wallet floating on this, white abyss, from a light box, put a credit card next to it, put a household, put a penny, a quarter, put some household object next to it. That's a huge one that's often overlooked. Do we need to elaborate that or?
No, I mean, I think an example would be good. So guys, in this case, I think I've talked about this in the podcast before, but it's one of my favorite examples. And some people think that, okay, only certain objects need it, like a pen or things that are more important onto how big they are, right? But it's not just the case. So in this example, we have a nootropic customer or a client who has a supplement that's a nootropic, and it comes in this black container. And when I saw it on the website, when we first looked at it, it looks like your normal supplement container, which you kind of figure to be, grapefruit sized, right? Like if you've ever bought pre-workout before, it comes in like a standard size container. It's kind of what everybody's used to seeing powders come in, right? For a month's supply. Now he sent me a sample of it. And when I got the container, it was like super tiny. It was like the size of like one of those sample paint cans from Home Depot that are, like an ounce or whatever, really, really tiny. And even though I got it for free, I had a major disconnect with what I saw on the website to what I got, because I'm used to bigger containers. And, the actual thing was, it's such a good concentrated formula. It doesn't have much fillers, so they don't need as much to get the same dosage. But he wasn't marketing it that way. And he was having a lot of customer complaints, but he couldn't figure out why. And it was all about their perception of the size to value. They're paying $60 or $70 for this container of nootropic, but it's tiny instead of the perceived size. So all he had to do was adjust that in his marketing and say, hey, put it next to a glass of water. And it's like, oh man, this is a small bottle. But then he can also address why it's small. Well, there's no fillers, there's no binders, there's none of this stuff. It's a higher quality stuff. So we need less to give you what you need, right?
Yeah. I think, but a customer quote that says, I love how concentrated it is because I hate drinking too much chalk or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
All ties together.
Don't have to use as much. Yeah, exactly.
So image that shows scale. Objection handlers. We've kind of, handled this, but here's an example. This is one of the beauty niche. It says overcomer eyeliner. And to the people on audio who can't see my screen right now, it's just a picture of a woman's eye with the eyeliner on it. And then there's just text, just big, black, easy to read, large text that says safe to use with falsies or lash extensions. Simple, right? The Swiss Army knife won't rust. Stainless steel won't rust. Oh man, thank you, because I was worried it would rust. What's another example? Screen won't scratch, or the screen protector is
waterproof.
Waterproof, yeah. Any again, I hope to God you know what your common objections are. Handle them. Do you want to elaborate on this more? Or?
No, I think you're good. Just remember what he's going over, guys, is that we're using images to tell the same story that you are overcoming in your emails and your copy and everything else, but they're also in the product images and everything else. So you still don't want a ton of product images. You got to keep those narrow, but the ones you do have should continue on the story.
Yes, absolutely. I'll reiterate that over and again. Yeah, I'll say it one more time because it's just so important. You want your images to tell the same story as the copy, the unique value propositions, the objection handlers, instructions on how to use it, how big it is, instructions for care, like if it's a carbon steel pan and how you have to season it, whatever, not the whole instructions, but just little things. Product and use image. This should be pretty obvious. You want happy people using your product. For the people on audio, it's also from the beauty niche. I just have a woman putting on eyeliner. It just shows her using it. It really helps them imagine themselves using it and the benefit they're going to get, gets them excited, gets them hyped up. Like if it was an LED, let me go back to the, some of these images here. I mean, this is the posture corrector in use. Yeah, we have an image of, the guy's spine before and after, not literally of his spine, but, for the people on audio, you can see it. This is a benefit image. I know I'm jumping around here. Let me open up. Well, I'll go through all these quickly, and then we'll open up some random ones and just kind of go through it. And then a benefit image, which could be before and after. Now, I know on Facebook, you have to be careful with before and afters. And I laser focus on revenue optimization. I don't touch Facebook ads with a 40-foot pole. So you do you on that. But if there's any way to show a benefit without a before and after, however you can do that, absolutely. And then Tanner, do you want to add anything before? Then I'm just going to go through and show quickly some better examples. Okay, I'll just go into that now. So we think we beat that to death with the posture corrector. Let me see here. Let's grab some of these at random. Okay, some LED lights. Let's see what they got here. So yeah, they have some instructions here. Music and mic mode. Play local music from your phone. The light will change accordingly with the rhythm of the music. Wow, look at this. They have a typo. That's so funny. Tech controller. Do you see that?
Yeah.
The music tech controller has a, well, okay. They still have 10,600 reviews on this. For the people on audio, these are LED light strips. You know, it's like a little, you unravel it. It's kind of like tape almost, but it's a LED, and they change colors, and apparently it plays music, or it changes to the rhythm of the music. It can like sense the vibration of music, and it, you know, it's like a turn your house into a rave basically. Smart LEDs light up your life. They have a timer setting. Wow, they have another typo in there, but it's not stopping them from selling them like crazy. They talk about their timer setting here, the before and after. So it shows, you know, your room has a picture of an LED TV in someone's living room, and one just looks kind of like normal decor, and then it almost looks like you're aboard the Starship Enterprise on the after, because it creates this purple kind of effect. It shows how it looks in bedroom, sofa. Again, this would be a product in use image. Basically turns your house into a raver's paradise. A phone case here, slim as it gets. Again, talking about benefits of it and adding clarity. Look, so they even put the clarity there. 0.04 inches. They actually show the measurement, maybe in case. And again, you may think, oh, that's useless. You know, who can tell from 0.04 to 0.03 to 0.1? Well, maybe you're doing a lot of comparison shopping. Maybe you have, 15 tabs open. You're like, hey, my dad said he wanted the thinnest iPhone case possible. And then you've got, 14 tabs open, and one is 0.043, 0.04, 0.038, 0.033. Well, 0.033 is the smallest one, right? Camera and screen guard.
So guys, I highly recommend you hop over to YouTube and look at the images that Casey's showing, because it'll really crystallize this. Like this right now, we're looking at like an iPhone case. And if you look at these images, they're super crisp, they're pretty. And then they have the accompanying like add-on text or image that Casey's talking about that really connects it, like this drop protection that he's looking at right now.
Yeah, sorry if I didn't say that for the audio people. We're looking at an iPhone case. Maybe I didn't introduce that. I'll try to remember that. They have a little comparison chart where they're just saying other people's work up to about a little less than a foot, but theirs is tested up to 5 feet. You can drop it. I think, in the interest of time, I don't know how long you want this to
let's look at some bad examples now, like, because it's good examples everybody's like clear on, but a lot of people don't realize what's bad, and they're like, oh, I thought mine was good, but when they see a bad example, then they're like, oh yeah.
So we're looking at a camera, and all we're looking at is just the same camera from every different angle. It's a big DSLR camera by Canon. And someone might think, oh, well, these are great images. They're high resolution. Like, they could not be more beautiful, high resolution. It shows the front, the back, both sides, and the top. But what do I really get out of that? Like, it's a big camera. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big DSLR camera. It doesn't say the exact dimensions of it. Doesn't talk about the aperture, that would be a lens, but doesn't talk about the ISO. Doesn't talk about, is it E-mount or that, I'm throwing out photography terms, but there's just, even about this item, they're saying it records in 1080p.
Doesn't talk about weight or any
weight,
or
how many megapixels is it?
Or how easy to operate it is. Cause that's a lot of people who buy DSLRs, like for the first time, they're like, man, can I even use this thing? Yeah.
Like, does it have image stabilization? Does it have face detection? Does it have, there's so many other features that they could list here. I do like this first image where they show what's included. That's the one saving grace here. It comes with a tripod, a memory card, some other little gadgets, a case, and that is a little bit of their saving grace here. All right, now for the people online, we're looking at a knife. It's a German cut. I have a different version of the same knife, actually. It's amazing. So we have just the knife on a white background, just it floating in that, abyss of ever whiteness. Then we have it on a nice cutting board surface, a picture of the top of the knife. Yeah. A picture of the handle.
Not a very good picture of the handle, kind of blurry.
Yeah. Another picture of it on another cutting board, just like artistic random photos of it that don't really show anything new or highlight anything new about it. Like I don't really get anything.
They're all basically the same image, just on a different backdrop with different lighting.
And it's a knife, you know what I mean? Like I see one image from the knife, I know what the other side looks like. From the bottom, it must look razor thin because it's a knife. And then, like full tang, high carbon steel resistant stainless steel with bolster. This is from the copy now I'm reading. That could be in there. The angle, right? Razor sharp, double edge, 10 degrees angle per side. Japanese knives and Western knives have different angles. Let's not get into that. But again,
made in Germany, lifetime warranty, all kinds of things that are
all kinds of stuff. So much stuff. Yeah, like that's an objection. Oh, it's going to dull. No, it's not. It has a lifetime warranty. Or, oh, is it going to be sharp? Yes, it has this and this. Oh, what if it, is it full tang or, what's it made of? They can have customer quotes like, cuts through, tomatoes like nothing, or, razor sharp, or, I refuse, I won't cook with any other knife, or my husband loved this, said it was the best knife he ever used. All this stuff that they're missing.
Superbly balanced. Think about this, guys. This is a higher end. I mean, not super high end, but higher end $90 chef's knife, like a kitchen chef's knife, right? So think about what somebody like who likes when you have a chef's knife that you like what would someone say about it? Put that into an image. What are the things that people don't like, right? It water spots, it rusts, it gets dull after one use. Yeah. And you can take that and put it the other way around. Also, one of the ones Casey talked about that was not there was an in-use image. Show it slicing through something that most shitty chef knives don't slice through well. Tomato is a great example. Most chef knives that are not quality or sharp, like smush it and it just like oozes out when you try to slice it. So show it slicing tomatoes just perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to be desired there. I was going to show one more real quick. Oh yeah, look at this one. This is Jamaican jerk seasoning, and they have a picture of the bottle with a little mountain of spice next to it. It's probably, I can show this. You could argue this kind of shows the scale because I guess you would assume this isn't like a gigantic mountain. For the people on audio, it's just a little tin spice can with a little mountain of tiny little pile of spice next to it.
But it would definitely help having a spoon or a measuring cup or something next to it to show scale.
And now they have just the can without the pile of seasoning next to it.
Same exact.
And now they have just the pile of seasoning, and then now they have other spices that don't even come with it. No, this is just the jerk seasoning.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't even come with that.
That doesn't even apply. So it makes you think you're going to get other stuff.
Yeah. This is just the jerk seasoning. Whether you're on an island, smoked paprika, these are the ingredients. Yeah. So they have, false clarity. They're adding confusion. Again, what could they add here? Ingredients, how much to use, where it's sourced, why it's different. Hey, freshly ground. We don't grind the spices until you order it. You go to Whole Foods, that's been ground up, sitting on a shelf, absorbing fluorescent light. Ours isn't. Now, again, that's a little too much to say in an image. You could just say a customer quote: "The freshest spices I've ever seen, as if I ground them up myself.
Amazing flavor, the best jerk seasoning I've ever tasted. Works on everything. Use it on meats, salads, those kind of things. And they say bits and pieces of that in the product description, which we're looking at. But it's even the product description is written fairly poorly to a way that where it would convert highly because the ingredients are italicized and small and center aligned, and it's hard to see what they are. And then nothing's really clear and concise and easy for readability. But again, Casey talked earlier about how most people don't read. Now, maybe in the product page, they read a little more, but they always start with the images. That's the first place people go. So if you could tell the entire story or the key points of the story and overcome the main objections in the image gallery before they get to the rest of your product, you're going to stand a much higher chance of converting the sale.
Yeah. It's kind of like, they say in copywriting, like the only point of the headline is to get them to read the subheadline. The only point of the subheadline is to get them to read the first sentence. The only point of the first sentence is to get them to read the second sentence. That slippery slope. Was it Joe Sugarman, I think, who came up with that term? Anyway, one of those. I read so many books on it. I think it was Joe Sugarman. These are kind of like the images, right? Maybe that, again, I like what you said better. What I was saying is that your image gallery should tell the exact same story as your copy, but that's not realistic. I like better what you said. It should tell the key points of the copy. And that could be like your slippery slope, like, from headline to subheadline to copy. It's kind of like they scroll through the image gallery and they see like, it won't rust. Well, I don't buy that. Why won't it rust? And then they go, oh, it's because it's got this, adamantium from X-Men Wolverine's body. That's whatever it is, right? They're crazy, curious. Yeah. They're curious from the image, and they want to get more information. Again, please don't put walls of text and massive paragraphs. If I had to throw out a number, I'd say, probably no more than 10 words ish max. I can't put out a number on it, but I would say
it'll be subjective. Into each image, it's going to be different. Contextual is the favorite word we use on all that stuff, but don't overload them. You're not trying to, because the image still has to have a clear hierarchy of focus as well. But there can be basically two focal points on an image, the main focal point and then the supporting element that strengthens it, which should be either the copy or the statement or the feature, the benefit, whatever it is that's, helping you supercharge that image.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your good examples and your bad examples. And I hope I explained that well enough to the people on audio, but like you said, please watch it on YouTube. Yeah,
I think you'll get a lot more out of it if you do that. Now, I know we've talked about good and bad and everything else. We've also pretty much talked about why it's important. But why don't you kind of jump into like what kind of results you've seen by focusing on this type of, image?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll actually kind of allude to what we were saying just now about copy and images, and it's, giving the key points and stuff. If you really want to communicate a lot, I'll tell you another trick that we use, and this will also answer the question about what kind of results we're getting from this. I have a client, and the product that she sells, it is imperative to get the size right. Let's just say that is number 1, 2, and 3 customer concerns is size. So what we did is in our image gallery, as I think it's our second or third image in the gallery, says size guide, click here. And you click it, and it doesn't just enlarge that image. It makes it's called a JavaScript lightbox, a pop-up window. You guys all know what a pop-up window looks like. It launches a pop-up, and it gives a whole bunch of sizing information about the product. That's a little more advanced. You can just, maybe make an image of some sizing chart or an image of some, main objection handler that you have. And then they click that, and that just displays. Don't get too hung up on, oh man, I need a pop-up window. We just, that's like, I'm throwing in like an extra, if you have a developer and you want to go the extra mile, that you can tell the developer, like, because usually you just click an image and it shows a bigger version of what you just clicked, 99. And that's fine. That's fine. So if I'm off in the weeds here, if this sounds too complicated, just whatever, don't worry about it. But if you want to go extra advanced, you click it and it can open up a pop-up that's not just the thumbnail enlarged, but a totally separate thing. Anyway, doing that, giving them right from the image gallery. And we had size help in other places. That's the funny thing. It wasn't the first time. It was like there already on the page twice or something. There was a size guide link under the variant selects where you select the size, and then also further down on the page. But again, people don't always look at that stuff. They prefer to find it from the images, as I talked about with all the examples of the user testing. That one test alone was the biggest test the biggest win I've ever had from an A/B test ever in my whole 3 or 4 career doing this stuff. 30% from one test, which
That's awesome.
That this is coming. You got to understand here too, right? We get a lot of sites, we get a lot of sites that are really, really crappy. And then, sometimes, even fixing an obvious thing, it's almost unheard of to get over a 20% win. If you get over 20% win from a single test, either you just raced a bicycle against a Ferrari or something like that, this extreme, thing, something that was, you fixed a bug and we're going to split test the buggy version with a broken add to cart button versus a working add to cart button.
Most single wins are nothing, nothing that size.
You can't get that. That's almost unheard of. And that was just fantastic. But I've had other, where we had the customer quote images and it's, 12 to 15% improvement, things of that nature. And these are on sites that have already been heavily, optimized for us. I'm talking about a client that I've had for, 3 years, going on 3.5 to 4 now almost.
Yep, almost.
So yeah, this is, I would say, it could be VMO. I'm trying to think, is copy or head, this could be the single most important thing, is getting your images right. It ties into copy, right? You have to do your research. You have to know what your objections are. You have to go through the whole copywriting process, but then putting that into your images, I would say, is just about the most important thing you can get right on an e-commerce.
If your images aren't right, very few people are actually going to get to your copy. There is a segment of your market, the super analytical type, that may start on the written word before they go to the imagery. But by and large, the social norms, if you will, of the internet and online shopping are that everybody starts with the images. Think about how you browse an Amazon listing. Where does your eye go first? It doesn't go to the price or anything else. It goes straight to the image, then over to the price, then down. And then the next thing you do, before you even look at all the product description, you scroll to the reviews, right? So imagery is like the most important thing to set your above the fold page load up for success.
Yeah, we have a really small closet here in my apartment here that I'm living in Miami. And I need to get these shelves that were exactly, 22 inches or something so they could fit in a little closet, right? And I was going to show this. In the interest of time, I won't share my screen. I won't show it again. But all the different shelving units that I looked at that didn't have just, the length, width, and depth measurements in the image, I almost just didn't even next. Because to look through that sometimes they put it in the main description, sometimes it's in the specifications. Believe it or not, sometimes it's not there, which I think for an Amazon product, I think that's required by FBA. I don't even know how but trust me, it's not there for certain products. I want to go through, tap, scroll, 2 images and go, okay, cool. It's 22 by 10 by 4, too big. It's this by this, too small. Okay, just right.
Yep.
Just get that quickly, right from the top, right from the image gallery.
Yeah, that makes sense. So guys, we went through a lot on your images. I highly recommend, if you're on audio, if you're on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or whatever, go to buildgrowscale.com/podcast, hop over to the YouTube channel using the link you'll find there, or watch the video on the podcast page if you want to just do it there. It's also there. But this will show you a lot of the examples that Casey shared, and I think it'll make it click for you. But do not think that, that's a nice thing to have, but my images don't have it right now, so I'm not going to do it. Or if you're using AliExpress or manufacturer supplied images, and you're refusing to run the business the right way by getting your own imagery and taking your business seriously, then at least take those manufacturer images and apply what Casey's talking about here to differentiate yourself and make them a little bit more effective. So there's a lot of ways to leverage this, guys. But, again, watch this on YouTube, see the video version. And also, if this is your first episode or whatever, make sure you're subscribed. If it's your 10th episode and you're not subscribed, subscribe, right? So get that done. Click the button below to subscribe on, whatever platform you're on. And if you're on audio, go over to iTunes and subscribe to that one too, so that you can always see the video version if you need to reinforce what you're hearing. Okay. And then if you're on the video version, make sure you subscribe to the audio so you can listen to it in the car or wherever you're going. All right. And then again, if you love this stuff, leave us a review, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. We'd love to see it. Give us ideas for what you'd like to see us talk about, or guests you'd like to have us, bring onto the show. The show is for you guys. So, Casey and I love doing this stuff, but ultimately we're sharing this information for you because he and I already know this stuff. We could talk about it. We don't even need to talk about it because we already know it. So we're here to share it with you guys. So if you enjoy it, let us know you enjoy it. And again, if you need the links to any of this stuff, go to buildgrowscale.com/podcast. And we will see you guys in the next episode. See ya.